The palm trees always look good in the Florida sunshine, and so does Mets baseball. Fans coming in. Only a few more home games left before the regular season gets going. And, you know, the Mets are always looking for talents. Maybe they got themselves the right arm. It's okay. You can come on out. Opening day is just around the corner. Not totally sure what's going on there, but we got baseball coming up. From Port St. Lucie, Florida, Mets baseball spring training style presented by Citi. It's the New York Mets taking on the Washington Nationals. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast this afternoon alongside my partners Ron Darling and Keith Hernandez. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. So we look at this Mets team as we draw up just a week away now from opening day against the Braves at Citi Field, and you're starting to see some things come into play. Clearly, they're getting a little bit healthier, which we'll get to in a little bit. But you have to look at some of these young guys. And Keith, we start with Lucas Duda. He now has 4 home runs this spring, and he's really showing you something.
Well, he's leading the Mets in RBI and home runs, hitting over 300 for spring. He just looks more comfortable, Kev. He's playing a very good right field. Defensively, he's come a long way. And here's his home run yesterday. The opposite field, he has that kind of strength. He had a bomb the other day, his 3rd home run of the year. That was off the backdrop in center field. Almost went over the backdrop. He's got tremendous power. Whatever he can get to defensively, he plays. He makes the plays. I think most important now, I think he's feeling like he belongs, and I think the future is all in front of him.
Meanwhile, Jonathan Nice gets the start today, and you know, he had a tough time his last time out, Ronnie, but you know, there are a lot of signs for him that are pointing in the direction that he could really step up and be a quasi-star this year.
You know, even his tough times aren't that tough now, and I think he's really ready to make that next step. 11 wins last year. I think his durability is going to be much better. He's in much better shape, and I really believe that Jonathan Nice at the end of the year is going to be the most dependable left-hander the Mets have had, homegrown, in quite some time.
Pretty good pitching matchup today. 25-year-old Jonathan Nice, 25-year-old Jordan Zimmerman for the Nationals. It's the Mets and the Nats this afternoon. Good pitching, little windsurfing. Oh, big-time waves. Port St. Lucie, first pitch next. We take a look at the New York Mets baseball today is brought to you by Citi and by Burger King. Also by Toyota. Hurry in. It's Toyota's #1 for everyone sales event, Toyota. By WB Mason for amazingly low prices on office supplies. Who but WB Mason? By Cholula Hot Sauce, the flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap. And by Bob's Discount Furniture. You can bring the family to Citi Field with a Mets Power Pack for just $22. Your ticket includes a hot dog or burger, fries, and a soft drink, too. Visit Mets.com now for your Power Pack tickets. Now we take a look at the Lexus Mets defense today. And in center field, Scott Hairston is making his debut. He's been out all spring with a left oblique issue that has finally gotten better. Really in a hurry in the last week or so. Played in a minor league game yesterday, got 4 at-bats, getting the start today. And now it seems he's on track for opening day. And that could be a very good thing. And plenty of people in attendance here today.
Oh, is that our right fielder?
It is. Gary Cohen is here.
Doesn't miss the game.
He's got the sandals. He's ready to go. Incognito, I might add. Jonathan Neese on the hill today. Mets and the Nationals coming up. We take a look at the Ford Nationals lineup for today against the Mets. Here's who Jonathan Neese will face. A lot of the regulars in there today. So is Ryan Zimmerman, fresh off that 6-year, $100 million extension, and he is flat out balling this spring. Look at the numbers he's put up. He's ready to go, and I think healthy for Ryan Zimmerman. Bothered really all year by that abdominal injury last season.
Well, Jonathan Neese on the mound for the Mets today. His last start a little bumpy, but really he and Dylan G have been the most consistent in spring training so far. You see those stats there presented by Verizon. But more importantly, last year won 11 ball games for this team, and I'm sure he's going to be north of that at the end of the year this year.
So Neese will get the call today, 25 years old, and
it's the inside pitch here on Jonathan Neese that I was talking with our producer Gerard Guilfoyle before the game. Durability. He only made 26 starts last year. I think a little toughness, a little meanness go a long way for Jonathan, and know thy game. And what I mean by that really is that everyone around the league thinks he is an elite pitcher on his way to being a great pitcher, and he's got to know that and realize it.
Well, there's my former skipper, RJ.
Yes.
Davey Johnson looks good, doesn't he?
He looks fantastic.
And Davey had a lot of health issues.
He did.
He had lost so much weight. He looked like death warmed over, but he's just made a comeback physically. And I wasn't sure he wanted to come back and manage this year after last season, but he's all excited about it.
Who wouldn't with all those great young stars they have? That inside pitch, of course, was brought to you by Xerox, the business of baseball. Ready for real business.
Take a look at Hairston playing center field, guys, and not only for him to come back, he's a pivotal piece for the Mets off the bench, but right now Andres Torres is still trying to come back from a little calf injury, and the Mets think he's close, but if he's not ready, right now Scott Hairston will be the opening day center fielder for this team.
Well, the Mets can ill afford any of these injuries to these players. They've got to get them healthy and ready to go opening day.
For the Reds, who lost Ryan Madsen to an elbow injury, yesterday lost Matt Latos maybe for a couple of weeks to that same calf injury that Torres has.
Ian Desmond leads it off against Jonathan Nice, and he fouls the first pitch away. It's 0-1.
Well, these are the two guys here, the two middle infielders, 1-2 in the order, Desmond and Espinoza. They're young players, they're hard-nosed players, but they strike out a lot and they don't walk. They are hackers.
Yeah, they are.
And Desmond at shortstop, he makes a lot of throwing errors. Not a reliable glove. Espinosa is a better fielder and has more pop.
Nice is 0-2. A little bit high. And it's interesting with Desmond. I mean, this is a guy that he's 26 years old, but he was drafted in 04. Third round of 04. And Keith, you talked about the errors. 34 errors 2 years ago. He had 23 this past year. And he's going to find a seam there. Not sure how that one got through, but it does. It's a leadoff single by Ian Desmond.
Just a Baltimore chop that got through.
There's that top spin, right, Keith, that kind of propels it into the outfield. What the Mets pitchers are going to have to realize in the 18, 19 games they face against the Nationals, Desmond and Espinoza, you get ahead of them, bounce the ball in the dirt. They will swing at it.
Or you can go up over their heads in their eyes. They both, 139 strikeouts for Desmond last year, and Espinoza struck out 166.
See if Tejada can get this one, and that goes through as well. So the Nationals have carbon copies of a base hit, and Nice is 2 runners on to start the game.
Well, I think Tejada took his eyes off the ball here. He wanted to run to the force out before he caught the ball.
Yeah, I agree with you, Keith. He just didn't look it in first before the ball went into center field.
So an inauspicious start for the Metropolitans, and he's going to be charged in error. Wow,
he didn't touch it, did he?
Yeah, that's usually a base hit all the way.
That's a tough error right there. He should have had it.
Oh, so it's a single and an error. Nonetheless, Nationals have the first 2 on. And here's Ryan Zimmerman now. Zimmerman, as we told you in the open, fresh off that 6-year, $100 million extension. And he's also got a $24 million team option, and he's still finishing out his current contract. He's a National for life is the bottom line, it seems, with Ryan Zimmerman.
By the way, the official scorer here has not had a good year. He needs to do well on the final to push that grade up.
Jason Worth waiting on deck. Zimmerman is such, we always talk about, the relationship with David Wright, growing up in the same area, good friends, third baseman, the whole bit, but they also have a link now with an injury. I mean, Zimmerman had really the same ab injury that David Wright has been battling. They finally came back from this week. Difference is Zimmerman had to have surgery, and he missed, guys, 2 months, and I think it really affected him the whole year last year.
This is one of the elite players when he's healthy. Very interesting kind of stance and approach, Keith. He has that big high leg kick that he tries to get down, and that produces that great power.
He goes the other way nicely. He's got a great glove, Gold Glover. I think he is the best fielding third baseman in the league. Very athletic.
And he drops one in, and Zimmerman down on strikes, 1 down.
Well, is his Neese signature pitch. They want him to use it a lot more often than they did last year. Pretty big breaker around the plate. Gets the call.
Well, second year of a contract, huh?
Yeah.
And you see those numbers from last year. They let him off. They hit him 8th. They just didn't know where to put him. He just was a very disappointing year. I think one of the reasons that Worth had the off year, he's no longer in that ballpark at Philadelphia. His power was always to right field, that short right field porch in Philly. And that stadium in Nationals Park, that's fair. It's a big park. Those balls didn't get out.
Neese is 1-0, misses with a fastball. You know, and Heath, you talked about the contract. I mean, Worth last year in the first year of that $126 million deal, 7 years, and on-base percentage dropped 50 points. His on-base plus slugging percentage dropped 200 points. I mean, it was that much of a drop-off. There's a strike. 2-1 to Worth.
Dramatic.
Yeah.
As we're seeing all around baseball, whether Alfonso Soriano here with Jason Bay, Jason Worth in Washington, you can get the contract. It's not necessarily going to make you a better player, and you better put up the numbers or the people are going to be on you hard. That's just how it goes.
Neese deals 2-1.
I just felt also that
watch this home run.
This is off Matt Harvey on Sunday in Vieira. It goes way, way over the yard, and it actually hit Jason Worth's bumper of his truck in the parking lot, estimated at 492 feet. He's still got pop, boys.
Of course he does, and he's not going to lose that. He's always in good shape. I thought his offense affected his defense last year. Another call third.
Back-to-back for Neese, 2 down.
That looked like that backdoor cutter trying to go inside, but it kind of went away. Let's see. No, they are calling for it, and that ball stayed kind of true. That four-seamer right on that outside corner.
So after the leadoff kind of chop single and then the error on Tejada, and John Neese has bounced back. He's got a couple of strikeouts looking, trying to get out of the jam with Wilson Ramos, who really seems like an up-and-coming star type of catcher in this league. Certainly he's got work to do. Pitchers like throwing to him, and you see the numbers. He's got some power. 15 home runs, 22 doubles last year. Of course, story with him is just the awful thing that happened to him in the offseason. He was kidnapped right out of his home in Venezuela. Was missing for 2 days before authorities had a movie-type rescue and had the helicopters and cable down and save him and rescued him. And talking to Nationals people for the game, say he's done a great job to kind of put it behind him and try and turn the page.
51 hours he was gone, which had to be something not only on himself but also his family.
Here Neese has him 0-2, trying to strike out the side.
Well, he really was a steal, Ramos. They got him from Minnesota. Minnesota thought they just signed Joe Mauer to a contract. He's going to catch forever until he started sustaining injuries. The Twins needed Matt Capps because their closer Joe Nathan was hurt. Capps went over, did a nice job, but it cost them this real talented young catcher.
Like the way he's moving the ball in and out, Mr. Neese.
How about fastball away, just missed. Fastball in, just missed. How about that hook that he threw Zimmerman? Interesting. Usually when you see a pitcher go through these signs and it really takes he and the catcher a long time, it's because the catcher calls a fastball for one side of the plate and the shake off because the pitcher wants it on the other side of the plate.
This one back to Neese, and he does a great job of getting out of the inning after the first two got on. Couple strikeouts, Neese through the first. Take a look at the Mets starting lineup this afternoon is brought to you by Geico. The dude, Lucas Duda, having himself a sprain. Went yard yesterday, opposite field as a matter of fact, and he looks like he's ready to go for opening day just a week away now.
Well, here's the Toyota numbers for Jordan Zimmerman, and throw out his record last year. Only won 8 ball games, lost 11. They shut him down in September to limited his innings because he was coming off Tommy John surgery. This kid is going to be a star in this league. He's a good pitcher, has all 4 pitches. He's got some mental toughness, and also a good hitter, a good National League pitcher.
Yeah, his ERA was 3.18 last year. That's a good year for a club that he pitched for. And we'll look at the defense shortly after this pitch, hopefully.
Scott Hairston leads it off, fellas, and he is making his Grapefruit League debut after missing the entire spring so far with a left oblique injury. It was so bad, in fact, that they had to have three cortisone shots in the same area to try and get that inflammation down.
You ever had a cortisone shot, Kevin?
They don't feel good. I can't imagine 3 of them in the same spot. That is not good. But, Scott was for a while kind of progressing very, very slowly. And then all of a sudden he said the last week or so it really changed. Here 0-2. And Zimmerman retires him. And you see, guys, Zimmerman still has that different throwing motion. We attribute that a lot to the abdominal injury. Because he started throwing differently after that surgery, but I guess he's still throwing the same way.
He's favoring it, definitely.
Early in his career, he kind of had that little Brooks Robinson underneath throw over there, but it was affecting his side, so he's kind of got on top of it.
Nonetheless, Hairston retired, his first official at bat of the spring for Daniel Murphy. Jordan Zimmerman, 25 years old, as we look at Murph, and this is a guy. Ronnie, you touched on it. He's an interesting study because Volley brings to the table. He really did have a great year last year. I mean, a 3.18 ERA, and they limited his innings to 160 because he came off Tommy John surgery late in 09.
It's similar to what they're going to do to Strasburg, or said they're going to do to Strasburg this year.
Chance for Desmond. 2 down here in the home first.
And we'll give it a second try on defense. My monitor didn't show me this graphic when it was up, but there it is. I see it. So we're going to highlight Desmond, but how about this guy over here? Mr. Xavier Nady, the former Met, just picked up by the Nationals as a free agent. And he's over at first base. Adam LaRoche with a foot injury that may not be able to start the season. I think that's a little backup. There's Xavier.
Most importantly, your telestrating skills are in mid-season form.
And
very nice.
That was actually, it's all downhill from this point on. The defense is brought to you by Coors Light, by the way.
He's been working on his Etch-a-Sketch, so he's
very nice.
Getting it going.
We're off to a sparkling start up here, aren't we today?
It's raring. We are on fire. Jason Bay bats, 1-1 count to him with 2 down and nobody on in the home first. Espinosa going to make the call and the catch, and the Mets are down 1-2-3 here in the first. Nice will get back at it when we come back. Follow the Mets with MLB.com at bat 12 for your iPhone, iPad, and Android. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Mets.com for the details. Top 2 in Port St. Lucie as Jonathan Nice faces the veteran Jason Michaels.
Nationals made a lot of nice pickups for their bench, I feel. Xavier Paul, former Pirate Dodger. This young man right here, Jason Michaels. They did a lot of nice moves. And
Chad Tracy, you like, right?
Yes, the infielder.
They got Mark DeRosa, who will probably play a lot for them. Brett Carroll, a former Marlin, is here as a reserve. Murphy's going to be tested on this. Oh! He passed the test. Nice play.
It's like Hadel to Allworth. Nice catch.
Changed positions 2 times, did Murph.
Very nicely done. Got turn around here. Makes the adjustment. Nicely done.
And the Murph play brought to you by Home Depot. Doing more on defense. That was spectacular. Did he get 2 feet in? I didn't see the end line.
Nicely done. Murph?
Murph's more of a guy running over people. He's not really tiptoeing on the sideline.
Not concerned about getting 2 feet in. Nady, the batter, against Nice, who has settled in nicely after that start where a couple of choppers got through.
Well, Nady's always been one of those guys, a lot of talent, but just a career checkered with injury.
Yes.
Well, the injury last year as a curveball for a strike was Dylan G ended his season in early August when the Mets were there. He nailed him with a pitch, and Nady was done. Of course, he's had 2 Tommy John surgeries in his career too, but he's been a guy that, and you can understand why, guys. Davey Johnson has liked this camp, and he's making a push to make this team. And especially with Mike Morse not recovered from the lat injury, I think it's even more probable that he does make this team.
Well, the 2 biggest injuries they have here, nice curveball in the dirt by Nice, blocked nicely by Johnson, and the bowl over to Ike Davis. The 2 big injuries the Washington's had, which has really kept Davey in the dark here in spring training, has been Michael Morse and Adam LaRoche. Those 2 injuries is the reason that all these veterans are still in camp.
See, Brett Carroll, the former Marlin, will take his hacks with 2 down. And I talked to Davey today about Morse. He did say that Morse was tested today, and the doctors say the injury is completely healed. So now he can go full bore, starting today and tomorrow. Question is that enough time to get him ready for opening day? We'll see. There's a strike, 1-1. The Nationals also dealing with, besides those 2, Drew Storer in their closer has had elbow tightness. He hasn't thrown a baseball in over 2 weeks, and it's looking likely that he starts on the DL. And the Nationals would probably do a combo closer of Brad Lidge and Henry Rodriguez.
One throws 95, the other one throws 105. Pretty good.
Rodriguez, of course, they've acquired from Oakland, and a hard thrower, but wild. But this spring, he has been lights out.
Yeah. He was our Cholula hot sauce champion last year. Remember?
Yes.
Maybe we go to that today if he pitches. It's time to unleash it. Meanwhile, Jonathan Nice firing. He's got 4 strikeouts here in 6 batters. No score. No score, bottom 2. I think that's a pretty stylish hat, Keith. I think you could pull that off.
You think?
Yeah, I think you could swing it.
I'd rather have it that way than when they put it on sideways.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was actually talking about the initial hats. The guy that was sitting on our right, TV screen right, on the initial shot.
He was going with the backwards hat.
No, the backwards hat is not you.
I just got a thank you text from my youngest daughter, who's 29 today. Mary turned 29, so
wow.
I forgot to call her before the game, so I better cover myself here and send a text.
Ike Davis, Desmond, bobbled initially, makes the play. And there's one down. Well, happy birthday, Mary.
Where is Mary residing these days?
Mary's in Denver.
Nice.
And 29 years ago. Wow.
Is Mary your daughter that has made you a grandpa?
No, that's Jesse, the oldest. Jesse. The two younger ones, Melissa and Mary, are not married. I hope they don't get married all at once. I'll go broke with the weddings. Jeez.
Just think of it this way. You'll do a couple of games for free. That's how it works.
Multi-year extension. Lucas due to the batter, who's just had a terrific spring. I mean, not only the 4 home runs, but his average, he's gone the other way. He's drawn walks. I mean,
right, 6 walks. He's been hit by pitch 3 times also. That's why his on-base percentage is .435.
He also has a grand slam to his credit this spring. Zimmerman the 1-1.
There's that curveball by Zimmerman. It's really almost like a 12-6. He's right over the top.
Very quiet here in Port St. Lucie today. Zimmerman's 1-2. Block in the dirt. You know, it's amazing for Duda to turn around because, you know, it wasn't a full season, but when he came up in 2010, he went through that rough stretch, you know, that 1 for 32 stretch. He hit 202 that year. And then he comes back last year and hits 292. I mean, talk about a turnaround.
Good pitch.
Boy, it tells Zimmerman has a real plan here against Lucas. He is pounding him inside, and he's throwing him soft stuff in the dirt, down and in. Throwing to bounce it.
Down and in curveball, got him 2 strikes. Hitters are more vulnerable inside with 2 strikes, and particularly a hitter like Lucas, who goes the other way, has a good eye at the plate. Stayed in.
Duda goes with it. Worth can't make the play.
Nice bat by Lucas. He continues to hit with a pretty good pitcher's pitch.
Yeah.
He's just so strong. He muscles this ball out. Worth just can't quite get there. A very accomplished outfielder. Very accurate arm, strong arm.
So the Mets have their first hit. That'll bring up Justin Turner. Turner's had a slow spring for him. He's 8 for 49. Does have a few RBIs, 5 of them, matter of fact, and a home run. See what he did last year. Had a good year for the Mets. At mostly second base. There's a strike. He will be the jack of all trades, though, for this team this year. He'll play third, second, first base when there's a tough lefty on the mound, right?
If he gets the count in his favor, when you get down in the order here with the Mets, where they're not as strong, there's going to be a lot of hit and running this year.
Zimmerman just misses. 1-1 to Turner. You know, more on Zimmerman. Talked about his year last year. A 3.18 ERA, 8-11. He had 124 strikeouts and just 31 walks. That's quite the good number. Zimmerman try to turn 2, and the Nationals do, inning over. Jordan Zimmerman induces the double play. Ryan Zimmerman starts it. Mets are done scoreless through 2. New York Mets baseball on SNY this afternoon, brought to you by Xerox, ready for real business. Jonathan Neese has had a whale of a start. He's got 4 strikeouts and 2 innings of work, and has retired 6 in a row after the first 2 batters reached on a single and an error consecutively to start the game. Meanwhile, face the opposing pitcher here, Jordan Zimmerman, who can swing the bat. He's no easy out. Lucas Duda will haul that one in, and there's 1 away. How much, guys, do you think that Duda will be helped defensively by the fence adjustment at Citi Field?
Well, I mean, that was the toughest right field fence there was. You know, San Francisco's difficult. Lot less ground to cover. And he, you know, we've seen him all spring. He likes to play shallow.
Yeah,
so
he does.
I think it's going to be a big help to him.
Ian Desmond bats now, singled his first time up. Trying to do the similar way again. He chops one through. Desmond 2 for 2.
Well, nothing you can do here. He's got 1 to the left of you, Ruben, and 1 to the right of you now.
Well, guys, I'm going in for some allergy medicine here, so I can't be responsible for what I say the rest of the game.
Uh-oh.
You hear a big thump, that would be your head hitting the table. Is that what you're telling us? It's a bad allergy day, though.
I am having a tough one.
I took something this morning, and it's not really being too effective, I must say.
You're going to make Andrew at Figueres nervous.
He just texted me, am I on Twitter? And I had to say, no, I'm not on Twitter. So maybe someone's pretending to be me.
You mean there's a fake Ron Darling on Twitter?
That's fine.
I could do some searching in the break. Danny Espinosa.
Oh, boy.
He's going to go the other way and has himself a base hit. Desmond's going to try for third. He will get there. So these table setters that are certainly in question, and a big part of this Nationals team are, well, they should be 4 for 4. One was good error.
Well, that's just another seeing eye dog right there. I mean, geez, all those should have been 4 hits, or could have been easily been outs. Not hit hard.
You know, Jonathan's been featuring his cutter mostly to the right-handed hitters now, an occasional curveball. I'd love to see him try to use that little sinking fastball, get himself a ground ball, get out of this inning.
Here is Ryan Zimmerman, struck out looking his first time up, takes a strike. Zimmerman now 27 years old, Gold Glover, former 4th pick in the 2005 draft out of University of Virginia. Big cut, knocks the mask off of Rob Johnson.
And for all of you guys that get drafted out of college, or well, especially college, you see Rob Johnson take a shot off the mask. Zimmerman signed right away because he wanted to get into the minor league system and get up to the big leagues as quick as he could. What happened? He was brought up in September of that same year.
Yeah, it worked. And he's been an excellent player ever since. You know, the Nationals doling out contracts and making trades. You know, certainly there's wonder that one just missed about him and his future, and certainly got rewarded for his patience with the 6-year extension the Nationals gave him this offseason. One, two. Zimmerman cranks it to center. Hairston makes a catch, but Desmond will come home and score easily. Espinosa trying for second. Here's the relay, and he is out by a mile. So he has gunned down. The run will count as Desmond comes home to score first. So the Nationals get on the board. The sac fly, but Hairston and company end the threat right there. 1-0 Nats. Nationals get on the board, the sac fly, but Scott Hairston and company preventing more, getting tested on his first spring game, guys.
Well, the fly ball deep here, and you can tell he doesn't really. There's a runner on first base tagging, and he just kind of lobs it in with that oblique. He makes you wonder. And Espinoza right there was late. He was kind of undecided, but the runner scored, crossed home plate before the tag was made, so it is an RBI. The run did count.
You know, he might have lollipopped it in there, but Tejada and Murphy had good communication to make sure that they got Espinoza at second.
And the throw was accurate as Tejada leads it off.
Well, Tejada right here, check him out. Not Tejada, excuse me, Espinoza. He goes back properly. Now he runs and then he makes this, that one little bit of hesitation, did it. And you don't want to run into a double play anyway if you were gone from the get-go.
Another chance for Ryan Zimmerman, and he gets it over there. One down. Tejada retired. Do you think that guy's Hairston just being cautious, or do you think that he was specifically told, hey, don't unload it today with the throws?
On his best day, throwing is not his friend. So I think that he's just being overly cautious. There's no reason for him to put 100% into a throw. Can you imagine if he did and pulled his side again?
That would not be good. Rob Johnson, the catcher, with a man down already in the third. 1-0 Nationals on the Ryan Zimmerman sac fly. Jordan Zimmerman gets a strike on Johnson, who looks like he's ticketed to start the year in AAA Buffalo. It at least appears right now that he and Lucas May will be the catchers in Buffalo. Mike Nickias has kind of put his best foot forward, and he and Josh Tolley set to start the year with the Mets.
It was interesting. I was watching a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot of, but one of the interesting things I think for the beat reporters that cover this team is to start to put the team together themselves, to assemble who's going to be on the team. I always go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
Oh, fine. Worth retires Johnson 2 away.
I always find that a little queasy, to tell you the truth, because you know, I know they're doing their job. I know that's what they're supposed to do. But there's also human beings down here who don't know if they're going to make the team or not. And to read in the paper that you have no shot of making the team could be, I don't know, demoralizing for a young player, especially if it's not true.
Well, you know, catching is in a lot of ways like pitching. I mean, it's so often catchers get nicked up at that position. They go on the DL for 15 days. Right. So it is important to have depth at that position, which it appears the Mets definitely do. I mean, they like Johnson defensively and May offensively, so they have their options. That's for sure. Nice is the batter with 2 down and nobody on against Jordan Zimmerman, who's cruising right along. He's allowed 1 Met hit, but retired with a double play. Very next batter, Espinoza retires Nice. Jordan Zimmerman cruising through 3. 1-0 Washington. Your SNY's Play Bowl Award was a huge success, helping 6 local youth baseball leagues pay for much-needed improvements. This season, it's your turn. Help your youth baseball or softball league with a $5,000 grant. Apply for the SNY Play Bowl Award today at sny.tv/playball. Gary Cohen is well-deserved day off today. Guys, he's relaxing. He's got the sun, and it is the last game for a long time that he will not be scoring.
Gary does not relax, by the way. Keith, he answered your question, right?
Yes, it was a sack and a double play on that fly ball, inning-ending fly ball off the bat of Ryan Zimmerman.
So is that real-time footage? Was that actually him texting you back right then and there?
That's another text. Gary's a text person.
Here's my question. How is he sitting out there just by his lonesome, and no one has even noticed that it's Gary?
Well, Gary can definitely fit in. The only problem is if he orders something aloud, all those Met fans will know his voice.
Also, a very strategically placed blanket out there. I mean, he's kind of got the 5-foot barrier around. Well, good to see Gary have a chill day. He'll be back in the booth tomorrow night here on SNY and for the foreseeable future as the regular season getting underway. As Jason Worth with a mighty cut 3-1 to lead off the 4th against Jonathan Neese, who's allowed 1 run on 3 hits, also has 4 strikeouts. And Worth tomahawks this one deep to left, and this one is gone. It's a home run for Jason Worth, and the Nationals make it 2-zip.
Nice to see you come right in. So pretty.
I think when I watched Jason Worth, Keith, he's a pure guess hitter. He looked in. Did he get it in?
He did, but he likes that ball down.
He does.
He likes the ball down. It was right into his wheelhouse. He turned on it.
You wonder with him, you talked about the park, Keith, and there are a lot of the factors. The protection he had in the Phillies lineup, obviously. But he's a good player. And you wonder if just that first year in a new place, big contract, what kind of difference that will be with him.
Well, I tell you what, from my personal experience, nice play by Ike. We know Ike can do that.
Ike stayed with it. Ramos retired, 1 down.
When I came over from the Cardinals and signed the extension after the first half season on 83. And Frank Cashin gave me an extension of a 5-year extension for a lot of money back then. And you feel the pressure in a new ballpark and new fans. I was glad that year that we opened up on the road. We opened up in Cincinnati and went to Houston.
That's right.
And I had a terrible series, the opening series against Cincinnati, and I was below the interstate. I was somewhere.
They had some good pitchers.
Border somewhere.
Mario Soto opened up. Bruce Moreni pitched second in that series.
And I went to Houston going, oh, my goodness. I did the Astrodome. It's either hit or miss there, and a good pitching staff. And I had a good series there. Came home hitting a respectable 235, but I got started, and even though it was 235, I knew I was on my way.
Just felt better. Murphy. Sharp hop makes the play, and there's 2 down. Michael's retired.
You know, I think the problem for Jason Worth is that he got himself into a little hot water because as soon as he signed the contract, he said words to this effect. Hey, listen, I know it's not a big contract, but leave me alone. I'm not going to be the face of the franchise. I'm not answering a lot of questions. I'm not dealing with the press every day. You know, I'm one of these guys just likes to come and play and leave me alone. Well, that was a mistake.
Doesn't work.
That was a mistake.
Doesn't work. You know, maybe you could do that if you're in Kansas City. You can't do that in Washington.
You can do that if you're surrounded by great players like he was in Philadelphia.
Right.
But
and that's the thing. And that's not his personality. That was one of the concerns about that. You become the face of the franchise with that contract, and that has never been his personality. He's a quiet guy. He's to himself. He's also got very long hair.
that's right. That's right.
He does look a little like Adam Lowen. Gerard Gilfield just whispered in my ear. I think it's a good call.
Really?
A little bit. X-Man Xavier Nady.
One of the great guys in the game is the X-Man. I mean, I don't care who you are. You meet him once and you're always pulling for him.
Takes strike 3. Strikeout number 5 for Jonathan Neese, but Nationals get another on the Jason Worth home run. Today's AT&T trivia question. We're even going spring training with the trivia question. Who had the first hit in the history of what's now called Digital Domain Park? And if you somehow know this one,
you're good.
Good for you. Well, the answer to today's AT&T trivia a little bit later in the broadcast. Keith, it could have been you.
Could have been Keith. I definitely didn't see it because I was driving around the first 3 days trying to find a place to eat. So I didn't see the first 3 games.
I know I started in the first game. Dwight would have started, so he very well could have shut down the top of the order.
There you go. Would you definitely have played in the first game?
Yeah, I did.
Would you have remembered that that occasion?
Okay.
So Keith is a valid guess. Scott Hairston leads off here in the home fourth. Hairston grounded out to third in his first official spring at bat this year. Brett Carroll has it lined up, and Hairston is 0 for 2. Meanwhile, Jordan Zimmerman is cruising. You know, we mentioned in the last half inning Jason Worth and Adam Lowen.
Oh, okay. I see it. Adam's got to go a little longer with the moss, though, to catch up.
Yes. Worth's had that thing growing for a while. I mean, you could tell. So good call by our esteemed producer, Gerard, today. Daniel Murphy is the batter. Lofts one to left. And Jason Michaels retires Murphy. Quickly 2 down. Guys, Jordan Zimmerman, impressive. Mid-90s. Fastball moving it all over the place today. Jason Bay has, well, he's still trying to find something here this spring. He hasn't had a home run. He hasn't had an RBI yet. He's batting .233. And you would think at least the final week, just to get a little something going into the regular season, would be maybe not so important for everybody, but I think important for him.
Well, I think it's important, one, that he's back in the lineup. You know, I mean, he got hit, of course. He thought, many people thought he got hit in the hand, but really it was a forearm, which is, and it all hurts, but that's much better place to get hit if you're going to get hit.
That was a Strasburg fastball on Sunday in Vieira, and obviously concerned immediately. They thought, as you said, the wrist. And especially weird because you remember last year Bay spent the initial portion of the season on the DL because he injured his oblique in Vieira about 2 weeks before the season started. So it was a sight of bad things for him.
You know, Keith, really quickly, it's 2 outs. You must have had a spring training where you didn't get a lot of hits. I mean, did you worry?
Not when I was a veteran.
Yeah.
But I always got, and the last week was critical.
Yeah.
That's when you wanted to get it.
Oh, Bobby O. A little thirsty there, fella. Oh, he's in the house just watching some Mets. He's been in camp for the last week or so, studying up, getting ready for opening day, where he and our pal Chris Carlin will be outside of Citi Field an hour and a half before first pitch.
What? An hour and a half?
Yeah, come on, it's opening day. You got to do it up.
Keith and I were just mentioning that we have an appearance before the opening game, so we're not going to be able to make the hour-and-a-half show there.
That's true.
Yeah, so we haven't let everyone know. We're going to have to.
We're indisposed.
Yeah.
It's indisposed. That can mean a bevy of things. Carroll to third, and Turner will put him away. One down here in the fifth. Jonathan Neese has 5 strikeouts. He's allowed the home run to Jason Worth, but he's, again, looking pretty sharp today. Ronnie, what do you think?
Yeah, no, he's. I'm telling you, he's going to have a big year. He's got all the pitches to be successful. He's not relying on his cutter all the time now. He's using his curveball enough. I think the only thing that he could use occasionally is that curveball that he bounces occasionally, so he'll get some strikeouts, and sink the ball a little bit to get some easier outs like he just did there.
Opposing pitcher Jordan Zimmerman takes a big hack, and he's quickly behind in the count. 0-2. See Neese at 59 pitches to this point.
Oh, nice play.
Mike Davis makes it 2 down.
Well, that's just good positioning defensively. You've got a pitcher up there. You're always going to shade the opposite field off of 95, 97% of the pitchers. And that's just nice play by great camera angle right there. Saw his initial reaction to it. First step. Sure-handed.
Bring up Ian Desmond. He's 2 for 2, 2 singles, and he scored the Nats' first run on Ryan Zimmerman's sacrifice fly, and actually turned into a double play, but the run counted. Espinosa was thrown out at second. So Desmond, who, again, a lot of scrutiny on him. On base percentage was at .298 last year, which is certainly nowhere near where you want an on base guy. And he's going to be 3 for 3. Ian Desmond having himself a day. He's got a double with 2 down here in the fifth.
This pitch was left up and out over the plate. Yes, sir. Belt high. Right down the pipe, really.
I'll tell you, though, if you're Jonathan Neese and Dan Worth and watching this game, get a little book on Desmond. You get behind him, he's looking middle of the plate in, keep the ball away, let him roll it over. So he's going to, even with giving up hits here in spring training, you can learn a lot of things that you can use during the regular season.
The one thing about these top 2 guys is talk all you want about the average and on-base percentage. Clearly, it's not where you need it for those 2 top guys, at least in their early histories, but they both have some pop. I mean, Desmond had 27 doubles last year. Espinosa had 21 home runs. So they have the ability to do that.
If they have games like they're having today, this Washington team's going to have a good year. They really are.
Two 2-0 Nats lead already. Switch hitting Espinosa has 1 for 2. Should have been 2 for 2 with an error charged on a. Should have been probably scored as a single up the middle. He's in an 0-2 hole here. Go high with Neese trying to get strikeout number 6 on the day for him. Terry Collins hasn't named the rotation yet. Right now, the way things are looking, Johan Santana's on pace for opening day. He'll throw a minor league game on Saturday, and it seems it would be Santana, Dickey, Neese, then Pelfrey and G. Yeah. He's outside with that pitch, and it's even at 2s to Espinosa. Santana will throw the minor league tune-up on Saturday. Doesn't want to show any more wears and a little bit more control than the minor league game.
Big Pelf tomorrow, right?
Miguel Batista will start for the Mets in place of Santana in the actual game on Saturday. G's had a good camp for him. Working on the stroke. Giving some competition at Worth for that. Does that qualify as a beard, that thing?
I was saying he looks like King Tut from the Batman series. Vincent Buono.
That's right.
He really does. Jonathan Neese painting 6 strikeouts, but it's the Nationals up 2. Take a look at the Delta 5th inning recap. See the Nats up 2-0, and Jason Worth with a solo home run. Jonathan Niso has pitched well. He's allowed a sac fly to Ryan Zimmerman as well, but he's put himself together a good game. So is this young man, Jordan Zimmerman, another 25-year-old who is going to be a stud for this Nationals team, facing Ike Davis, who's 0 for 1 with a ground out to shortstop in his only at bat.
Ike had a tough day yesterday. He struck out 3 times looking. I don't think I've ever seen him called out on strikes 3 times. If you're going to do it down here.
0-2 hole here. Lays off the fastball high. You know, you look at Ike and you look at the 2008 draft for the Mets. Ike was the #1 pick. Later in that round was Reese Havens, who was here in Major League Camp but had another injury issue with a back injury. Does Ike lay off there? He does. You know, the rest of that draft, you're looking at Brad Holt, who was a hard thrower, who I don't think is with any team right now. Javier Rodriguez not around. Kirk Neuenhuis is kind of close, but he's dealt with some injury stuff. Sean Ratliff had a horrible injury last year with a retina deal after getting hit with a foul ball, and he's Neuenhuis' close friend and roommate trying to make it back, but he still has vision problems. Wow. He was a promising prospect, so he's trying to get the vision right. And 6th round in the draft was Josh Satin. So Davis is the headliner of that draft. Coming back from the big injury. 2-2 here. Next man makes a nice play. Davis retired.
Newman.
Jerry's here.
Oh, fantastic.
How about that?
He's a real fan. Loves his Metsies.
Jerry's got some stand-up shows in South Florida the next week or so. So he's in town, see a little baseball.
Nice.
He and his wife Jessica, the family, they're always at the games at Citi Field. They're great. Duda now trying to add to his team high total, 4 home runs. Problem is he's got 4. The team total is 11 home runs this spring, so the Mets have not had power at all. That's last in the Grapefruit League. Duda's 1 for 1. He's got a single as Zimmerman hits the corner, and it's 0-2.
Nice little changeup Zimmerman spotting today. He's really mixing them up well.
Does, right?
Little fade.
Watch this little pitch in. He likes to go in usually with 2 strikes.
There you go. That's good pitching.
Breaks that pass. Espinosa sends Duda to the bench. 2 down. Today's AT&T trivia question. We look at the answer. First, the question. Who had the first hit in the history of what's now called Digital Domain Park? So the dates. Steve Saxoff, Aggie.
Okay. So we played the Dodgers, huh? That's right. And Saxy always led off for those Dodgers. So.
Speaking of the Dodgers, biggest news of Major League Baseball, even though the season opened in Japan this morning, was certainly the news of the sale of the LA Dodgers for over $2 billion. And we'll probably have to continue this if the inning ends here, because it's monumental news for this franchise, this iconic franchise that was struggling with the divorce of the McCourts, and now a group that just needs approval from MLB, and they'll get it.
Well, it's not only MLB, it's the bankruptcy judge, Kevin Gross, also. That's another one of the steps that they have to go through.
The group is Stan Kasten, of course, who was the president for all those good Braves teams and was with the Nationals, the Atlanta Hawks, the Atlanta Thrashers. Magic Johnson is also the headliner of that group, which is, I think, just great for the game. Turner swings and misses at the 0-2, but Ramos will complete the play. He's down. Second strikeout for Jordan Zimmerman. Mets go quietly in the fifth. It's the Nationals still up by 2. Get an inside look at the Mets and Yanks with live reports from camp, plus all the latest New York sports news in the Wheelhouse, presented by Pepsi. For the New York Sports Local today at 5:30 only on SNY. As Jonathan Neese has been pitching well today, but finds himself trailing 2-0 to the Nationals. Ryan Zimmerman leads off here in the home 6th inning, and we go down to the dugout now, where Tom Goodwin, the new first base coach for the Mets, is on headset. It's brought to you by the Xerox Business of Baseball. Xerox, ready for real business. Tom, it's Kevin Burkhardt, Ron Darling, and Keith Hernandez upstairs. And just for you, first of all, welcome. And what's it been like for you coming to a new team, new camp, new players, all that stuff?
Thank you, guys. Definitely for having me on. It's been something, special as far as getting back into it, but as far as the game goes, it's still the same. As far as the preparation goes, that's the same. But, getting to know new guys, getting to know guys' tendencies, I think a lot of that has to do with, which is good to get that over with in spring training, and so we can head into the season.
And he steals a curveball. It's away to Zimmerman. Well, Tom, obviously you were a stolen base threat in a big way when you played this game. So when you look at this Mets lineup, where do you see the steals coming from? How important is this running game going to be?
Well, Andres Torres is obviously a big part of our games. We have to get him healthy, get him out there every day, to kind of put that pressure on other teams. But we have some guys who can run. Jason Bay can run. Murphy's probably not going to run as much, but he's a pretty good guy as far as picking his spots when he needs to run and things like that. And I think it's going to be more of those types of situations where we have guys pick their spots, and that's going to be on me a lot as far as coming up with with some help and with some hints that some of these pitchers, some of the tendencies that they go through.
Chance for Duda in right field, and Zimmerman retired, 1 down.
Well, right on cue, Tommy. Great career, 14 years, 369 steals, in fact. But talking about working with the outfielders, and in particular, the man who just caught that baseball, Lucas Duda, what have you guys been trying to work on in spring training?
Well, first of all, he works tremendously hard. He's done an outstanding job of just believing in himself. That was the first thing I was trying to get through to him, to just believe in his abilities out there. We're trying to shallow him up, but I still want to make sure he's comfortable where he is, because I don't want him to have any first steps where he's going one way or the other. I want him to read the ball and then react, and that's some of the stuff that he's been doing. He hasn't really had a lot of mishaps out there in the outfield. Actually, he's been pretty darn good as far as I've seen, but obviously, it's one of those things where you want him to be able to run it into the season and continue. So hopefully he just continues to come out. He works hard, like I said, and can take what he's learned for these last 6 weeks into the season.
Tom, you say shallow him up. Why? Why do you want Duda playing shallow?
Well, because you would much rather a ball that is not hit that hard or hit that well to be caught. Balls that are going to get hit over his head are going to be barreled up more than likely, and sometimes those balls deserve to be hits. But as I've gotten to know some pitchers, it's very deflating when a ball is not hit that hard and it falls in the outfield to start could start a rally up and things like that. So to get him to just be able to catch that ball that's coming in that a guy doesn't square up, maybe hits off the end of the bat, I think is going to be very beneficial for us.
Tom, we got 2 outs and Ramos the batter here. So one more question before we let you go. In terms of center field, interesting that we see a little Valdez being out there now, because look, Torres is a center fielder. Harrison's out there today. He seems to be back. But as far as a true center fielder, this organization right now doesn't have a lot of guys that can really go out and play that position. Where do you see Valdez being? Is that something that you think he can do and do it well? I mean, he's a natural infielder.
I think he can do it. It's going to take time, and there's going to be some hiccups. There's going to be some mistakes, and I think everybody realizes that. But a guy that's been out there for 10 years is going to make the same type of mistakes. It's probably the easiest position to learn, because balls aren't going at off angles like they are when their balls are hit down the line. For the left and right fielders. So I think it's the easiest position to learn. But then, of course, you have to have some speed to be able to back it up. And he definitely has that. He has all the athleticism that you look for in a guy to play up the middle. More important to play center field.
Meanwhile, Jonathan Neese issues his first walk of the game. Tom Goodwin, we appreciate the time. We'll see you again soon.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Tommy.
Right.
Mets' new first base coach joining us. A little insight on the outfield. Keith, you were talking a lot about Duda, about playing so shallow. So
yes,
Tom's saying why? They want to take away those cheapies.
There's a method to their madness here. And, I'd always liked outfielders. You see the defense right there. It's not really playing very shallow right now, Lucas.
Get an opportunity on one of those shallow balls, and he comes in, makes the play on cue. Another good inning for Jonathan Neese, but it's the Nationals still in front. Early in spring training, Mets catcher Josh Tolley caught live BP wearing a GoPro camera attached to his equipment, providing us with an inside look from a major leaguer's point of view. Pretty cool stuff. To learn more about GoPro's products and how to capture your own sports memories, log on to GoPro.com. GoPro, the world's most versatile camera. Be a hero. GoPro. Frank Francisco coming on next for the Mets. But right now on offense, just looking for something. They've only got a Lucas Duda hit against Jordan Zimmerman, who's been mowing them down as we start the sixth with Ruben Tejada.
This is what happens when you have a well-pitched ball game, and Zimmerman is just one of the rare pitches he hasn't commanded. He has just been, with all three of his pitches, just locating really well and pitching aggressively inside, Ronnie.
Yeah, he has. He's a guy that really has an idea out there. Both pitchers, of course, been outstanding.
Fisted to right, and Tejada is retired, one away.
Catcher, number 16, Rob Johnston.
Now Rob Johnston will be the hitter. You know, Jordan Zimmerman is a great athlete, too. I mean, in high school, he was an excellent wide receiver on the football team. As a matter of fact, he broke the Wisconsin State record. Had 11 catches for 304 yards in a high school football game.
Jeez.
Couple new changes for the Nationals. Lombardozzi is in at third base. Davey Johnson loves this kid. He's got a good shot to make the team.
Davey's kind of player. He always loved those utility players.
He does. He loves
little scrappers.
Mix them in everywhere.
Meanwhile, right fielder's Corey Brown. Jason Worth is out of the game now.
5 and fly for the veterans.
Oh, yeah.
Back to Vieira.
It's a long drive.
Not bad. Oh, it's less than your drive, isn't it?
It's like cow pastures out there. Up there. Gosh. At least they put that big old, what they put that little mall up there. It's like the hotels we stay at, right? Seems like everyone has a big mall.
That's right.
It's a requirement. Johnson takes outside. 2-2 to the Mets catcher this afternoon. There's been lots of talk about the Nationals not remaining in Vieira for too long.
There's the Key West or something that's come after
kinds
them?
of talk.
Key West?
Marco Island?
No, not Key West. Sorry. What am I thinking? Where the Red Sox?
I thought it was West Coast. Fort Myers, Marco Island, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was that area.
Yeah.
You've got
Key West. Sorry. Be down there bone fishing.
That was DC7 on that one.
It is La Mirada
For a road trip.
That would have been pretty cool. We could ask if we could broadcast those games. Johnson finds himself a gap in center. Brett Carroll knocks it down, but not before a double.
Well, ball's a shot right here. Fastball, a little outer half of the plate. Took it right up the middle. Nice play by Carroll here to knock it down. Prevents the triple.
Big hit for Johnson there, you know?
Yeah, it was. Nice little at bat. A 1-out runner on second. Just the second hit of the day for the Mets. And now Adam Lowen will be the batter. Lowen getting the pinch hitting appearance today. And that means that Jonathan Neese's day is done, and he was excellent today. 6 innings for Neese. He allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, and just 1 walk for Neese. Allowed the home run to Jason Worth. That's really the one big mistake he made, is big swing and a miss for Lowen. But got to be encouraged by Neese, who's had a very, very strong spring. Lowen's shown you some opposite field power this spring. Does have a home run that went the other way, but his biggest issue has been the strikeout. He takes inside with the ball. So far, he's got 20 strikeouts and 41 at bats. Big number.
Well, with the reconfiguration of Citi Field, you don't know what's going to happen, but a lot of those home runs that are hit by left-handers here at Digital Domain Park in spring training, or an F7 in our book once we go up north, but you never know now with the new configuration.
Neese, by the way, threw 85 pitches today, 54 of them for strikes. And that's an encouraging thing, too. You know, at times he could get a little wild with the walks. He was total control today, just the one walk.
I think that they took him out, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets more work down there in the bullpen. Maybe another 15 or so pitches to get up to 100.
Good cut by Lowen. Bronny, I just want to. We talked about it yesterday. We know that relievers today. I think Tony La Russa started it, and Bobby Cox. You know, 1 inning at a time. The relievers come in, throw 1 inning. Don't you want to kind of maybe, as a pitcher, if you're a reliever, and I know you're tuned to throw 1 inning, but wouldn't you want to throw 2 innings, or kind of stretch out your arm?
I would love to see some of your relievers who can go 2 innings, who can get up and get an out and then come back in the next inning and pitch. I would like to see that because, Terry knows about these pitchers. He's got the reports on these pitchers, but he certainly hasn't seen them. So Francisco, Ramirez, Roush, can they all do that? I mean, it's nice if you can have such a clean game where a pitcher can just pitch 1 inning out of the bullpen, but we know by watching all these games it's not always so clean, and sometimes you need to get 4 outs or 5 or more.
Well, Ramirez worked 2 innings yesterday. He asked for more work around his 3 outings ago when he was getting kind of touched up, and he's one of those, I think, one of those Dominican pitchers that have rubber arms that like to throw
every day.
And it's like you're letting the horse out of the barn and then you're putting the reins on him and bringing him back in when he's just getting a sweat going.
That's right.
Hairston takes inside. Hairston in his spring debut 0 for 2 as Tom Gorzolani left out of the pen for the Nationals. Looks like he will be coming in next. I don't really see those guys anymore. Those guys that'll give you a couple of innings, the 6th, 7th inning together. It doesn't really exist.
Washington has it in Tyler Clippard, I'll tell you that.
That's true. Late call from first base, but the X-Man makes the catch, and the Mets are retired. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Budweiser, by New Era, and by DiGiorgi. Adam Lowen, who came on to pinch hit, stays in the game in center, so Scott Hairston's day is done. And new pitcher for the Mets is Frank Francisco, facing Xavier Nady. Nady greets his first pitch with a bullet base hit. So Nady, who had struck out his last 2 at-bats, has his first hit of the afternoon.
The only concern I'd have about Francisco right now, and listen, you got 10 days or whatever, or maybe 2 weeks, is that he's just not throwing hard enough right now here in spring training.
And I'm a little concerned about Ramirez, too, who's been throwing in the 88, 87, and he's a guy that throws in the low 90s.
Well, Francisco, this is his 10th spring training appearance. He's allowed at least a run in 6 of his 9 appearances, and he's had some hard hit balls. And also, bears watching here, this is an issue for him, holding runners on first base. It's been an issue his whole career, and the Mets have known that. They've tried to talk to him and work with him on that. And so let's pay attention here to Nady, who's not really a base stealer at this point, but still. Meanwhile, Carroll to center, and Lowen puts him away. Point is, keeping a guy close in a one-run game late is something that Mets are trying to work on with Francisco.
Well, and the other thing that is going to be a challenge for Frank is that you play in the American League, without the pitcher hitting you. You play a lot of waiting for that big hit, the big home run, this and that. In the National League, he's going to face a lot of situations where he's going to have to handle the baseball as a defensive player and make some throws, and that has been an issue also. So he'll have to work around that also.
Ronnie, you called it. He's still throwing on the side.
Well, I was watching him. He needs to get to 100, 110 or so. But almost every pitch down there has been a curveball. So it tells me he's saying to himself, you know what? I didn't get to the curveball enough today, so I'm going to work on it on the side. So
why down there to finish when he was cruising today? Why not let him just finish in the game?
Because they need Francisco to pitch. They need the relievers to pitch at some point in this game. So that's sometimes you have to give way to the 3 innings he needs from guys that are battling for a position. Not Francisco, but others.
Chad Tracy pinch hitting for Jordan Zimmerman here, by the way. See if the Mets can turn it. Murphy gets the turn down. That'll do it. Double play induced. Nationals by 2. A one-of-a-kind look at Mets spring training with the latest news from Port St. Lucie, insider info, exclusive interviews, and behind-the-scenes video. It's on Mets Blog, presented by Verizon, and it's featured on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. We'll take a look at the upcoming schedule. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, boys, for opening day on the 5th. See tomorrow night a 6 o'clock game on SNY against the Astros. We've got that game, and then again on Sunday, and then the Yankees. To finish out spring training, Carlos Maldonado, the new catcher, Chad Tracy, the veteran, at first base now for Davey Johnson's crew. As Daniel Murphy leads it off against a new pitcher, it's Tom Gorzolani, 29-year-old lefty.
Well, Gorzelani has been with a few different clubs, the Pirates, the Cubs. He's been with the Nationals the last few seasons. He's a guy that can pitch out of the bullpen. He can pitch in late in games. He can also start games for you, and he has for the Nationals.
You know, that versatility role for the Mets certainly looking like Miguel Batista is going to have that spot, because DJ Carrasco, the other guy that can be that guy, has got an injured ankle, and he's still not throwing a baseball. So it's looking like DJ Carrasco may start the year on the DL. We'll see. 3-1 to Murphy. And he's got a leadoff base hits.
Murph really has an idea up there when he's at the plate. He's a guy that just likes to take that ball up the middle, doesn't he, Keith?
Nope. He takes his trades very seriously. He works very hard at it. He's got a short swing. Stays in right there.
Works his way to a 3-1 count with that good eye and hits a bullet.
He's a line drive hitter, doubles hitter.
Jason Bay against Gorzelani, trying to get the Mets on the board, trailing 2-0 here in the home seventh. And Bay gets a piece of that one at 0-1. We now go down to the Dents dugout in this interview with Jonathan Neese, brought to you by the Xerox Business of Baseball. Xerox, ready for real business. Jonathan, it's Kevin and Ron and Keith upstairs, and you know, it just seems like this spring you've just had a real nice flow and a real nice groove. How have you felt overall this spring about your body of work?
I've been feeling really good. You know, knowing what to do when my mechanics are off, and you know, just being able to throw strikes. I just feel all around my body feels good. Finally healthy, and just looking forward to the year.
You know, your cutter worked well today. You were spotting the fastball so well that you didn't get really to your curveball. Explain to our fans why you went down in the bullpen there during the seventh inning to kind of work on the feel of that curveball.
Well, in the seventh inning, I was just actually finishing my pitch count. But yeah, also working on different hitters that I've faced during the game and how I would pitch to them during the season. And but yeah, I mean, the cutter, I did drop down on a couple of them, and but I was able to stay back and have some nice cutters working. But as far as the curveball, I really don't know why I haven't thrown it much, but it's something that I'm not going to go away from.
Jonathan is from. I'm sorry, Keith.
No, it's okay. You threw strikes today, John. You only walked one guy. It seemed like you moved the ball in and out. You impressive in the first inning when you got the two bleeders up the Baltimore chop up the middle, and then the other one was ruled in air, and you got out of it. That's something we've come to see out of you. When you get in trouble, you don't knuckle under. Was there anything you went out today and really wanted to work on?
Well, my main focus is pounding the zone with all my pitches and using all my pitches. There was a few times where I used my changeup, and I thought I threw a couple good ones. Obviously, the one got hit, but
that one got hit by Ike Davis. Carroll holds it in at the track. Davis gave it a ride, not far enough.
But anyhow, you know, that's something that I'm going to do during the whole season is, you know, use all my pitches and pound the zone with them.
John, how about for a player right now? I mean, you're a little over a week away from opening day. I mean, is it antsy? You know, what types of things are you feeling at this point of spring training?
Yeah, I wish the season would start a little sooner. Spring training be a little bit shorter, but you know, obviously there's a lot of guys that need the full month of spring training. Obviously, probably as I get older, I will too. But for right now, I'm really anxious to get the season going.
Lucas Duda with 2 down, and to get the Mets on the board here.
Have you been lobbying Terry Collins for the first left-hander off the bench and pinch hitting opportunities since you had that big triple?
Oh man, well, pulling my oblique last year, the last month of the season, I'm going to actually take it a little bit easy. You know, practicing in the cave and stuff, just because I thought I did a little too much, and I thought that's how I, you know, fatigued and pulled my oblique.
You know, John, that would have been a home run in the new City Field, if you remember.
Yeah, it would. I actually thought about that. I was over on Field 7 over there with the new dimensions, and I was like, you know what? That triple might have been a home run last year.
You had 2 pinch hit appearances last year, didn't you? You had the triple, and did you have another one later in the year after that?
Yeah, I probably struck out though.
Well, that's why I didn't want to. I wanted to bring up the positive one, the triple.
Right.
John, excellent performance. performance today. Thanks for taking the time. We'll see you soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
Jonathan Neese, just smooth and in control, and he talked about pounding the zone. It's been pretty clear he's been trying to do it this spring. I mean, he is, and he's done a good job of it too. Today, just one walk. Duda takes a strike. He's in an 0-2 hole. Jason Bay on first after the fielder's choice. 2 down here in the home 7th. Ryan Matthews warming up for the Nets. We'll see him next. We're supposed to see also today Henry Rodriguez, their flamethrower. I guess Davey's saving him for last. Duda, fair ball. No indication that it hit the Nationals players in the pen, which it certainly looked like it did, and so Duda's going to keep on going. Jason Bay is going to score, and the Mets are on the board. Boy, I thought that hit a chair down there at least, but I guess not.
Kevin, when it goes down there with the relievers, that's like hitting a rock pile down there.
Oh, they didn't. Right, everybody moved. They didn't move that chair. That guy just got up.
Right there, right there.
These are the things that give pitchers a bad name.
The tonto.
Well, this is spring training, so let the run score. Now Lucas Duda has the RBI triple. Mets are on the board. 2-1 now. Chance to tie it with Justin Turner at the plate and 2 down. Turner's 0 for 2. Grounded into a double play. Also struck out his last at bat. And he takes strike 1 from Gorzalani. Tracy puts the Mets away, but they get on the board. The Duda RBI triple. Lucas has been hot all spring. Still the Nationals with the 1-run lead. Duda delivering right down the line. I will call it a triple. Great. Tonight's Twisted But True Fact is brought to you by Twisted Tea, hard iced tea. During spring training in 2000, Garth Brooks went 0 for 17 during his, quote, tryout with the Mets.
I wasn't here, so I won't comment.
Desmond bunting, and he's got himself a base hit. Desmond is 4 for 4 today. He said, hey, I can be a leadoff guy just like that. Vinny Rottino is in for Wright Davis at first base.
there was not going to be a play in that anyway, but the problem there was Turner had a beat on it, but Rob Johnson kind of got in his way, but there would have been no play with Desmond's speed.
And now Danny Espinosa, he's got 1 for 3 with a strikeout. Could have been 2 for 3. A score on an error. Probably should have been a base hit. But let's see Francisco hold Desmond now, who can steal. That pitch is inside. And Desmond's been taken out of the game, I should say. I was looking forward to that appearance, but not so much. Instead, it's Chris McConnell who's the pinch runner. Let's see anyway, Francisco, something he's been working on this spring.
It's pretty interesting that Desmond bunted on Francisco. They wanted to see him make a play.
Right?
They did.
How much of that goes on in spring training? You know, R.A. Dickey had a comment earlier this spring about a game against the Nationals. He said, you know, I'm just taking information.
Yeah.
And how much of that, like that, testing Francisco off the mound, goes on in spring where you kind of see things and make notes of importance?
I think it goes on all the time. As Jason just back on that fly ball, I think it goes on all the time, especially when there's players you don't know. You have a backup catcher you haven't seen. You want to attempt to steal to see how he throws. We've seen Bobby Valentine, of course, has caught a lot of bad press because he was down by a run and put on the suicide squeeze, and people were criticizing him. So why would you do that? Why didn't you let the guy hit? Well, he said, I wanted to see if we could do the suicide squeeze. I don't care if we win or lose the game. I just want to see if it works. The best way to do it, try those things and on the field.
And you wouldn't do it with a guy like Big Poppy.
Yeah,
you know, it's a guy probably that is a Desmond that is going to be a button and be called on to squeeze from time to time.
And people always think, you know, if you put the squeeze on, well, that's really about the hitter being able to get the bunt down. It's much more than that. Is the third base coach going to be able to relay the sign? Is he going to be able to have communication with the runner on third? Is the guy at bat, is he going to hide it long enough and turn around late enough so he doesn't give it away? It's all those little things.
Meanwhile, this is a guy that Davey Johnson really likes, Steve Lombardozzi, 23-year-old, who was taken in the 19th round of the 08 draft by the Nationals out of St. Petersburg College, and infielder by trade, and a guy that's played everywhere there. Davey had him in the outfield, also the son of Steve Lombardozzi Sr., I guess you would call him.
Yeah, he was part of that 87 World Championship team for the Twins, and a real hard-nosed, good player, solid player. And his son, in fact, I think got off the schneid against the Mets last year. He had a real offer started when he first was called up.
Tries to go down the line, but that's a little bit foul. Maybe broke his bat on that one. You know, this Nationals team, guys, is very intriguing. I mean, there are certainly a lot of question marks. But, I mean, you look at the pitching staff overall, the overhaul their staff has had is unbelievable. I mean, you get Strasburg back from Tommy John. You get Gio Gonzalez in a trade from the Oakland A's, who's very quietly put together 2 excellent seasons out there. You know, you get Jordan Zimmerman today looking fantastic, ready to go. You sign Edwin Jackson, who's been on a million teams, but he's always pretty consistent. There's the rotation for the Nationals, and Chen-Ming Wang was going to be the 5 who got hurt, so he's going to be out for a little while with a hamstring. But this is a much different pitching staff for this Nationals team.
Well, you know you've made improvement when your #1 pitcher from 2 seasons is now your 5th starter.
Murphy will have to try to first now, and they can't make either play. Mets are hoping for 2. They get none. And Nationals have runners on first and second.
He does everything right here. He comes in hard to try to get the short hop, but just didn't make the play. He comes in hard for that short hop, and beautifully done. And I think he kind of looked a little too quick again for the shovel pass.
The only thing you can do there is that he played that kind of off to his side. So if it doesn't catch right in your glove, it'll bounce straight up. If you play that kind of into the soft part of your stomach, sometimes you can cradle it in there and still get the force play.
Nationals now first and second against Frank Francisco, as Corey Brown will have his first at bat.
And then the other thing is that once that play happens like that, Murph's going to have to put it in his pocket, because you don't want to compound the problem by throwing a wild pass first.
Eddie Acosta and Danny Herrera warming in the Mets pen.
by no means was that an easy play. That was one of those in-between hops. And like Keith said, he did everything right. It's just, you know, that's the soft hand problem.
It's a double play you're turning two.
Yeah.
You can't play the long hop. You're not going to turn two. So he did the proper thing. And it was an error. He rolled an error, and it should be. But it's all about he had the right idea. It just didn't go in the glove. It kind of popped out. There you have it. That's the end of my analysis on that play.
He dropped in like an Edward R. Morrow on us at the end there.
3-0 to Corey Brown. Francisco falling behind, in danger of loading the bases with one down. Turn around and he'll pay attention to Chris McConnell, pinch runner for Desmond, who went 4 for 4 today for the Nats. High ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Dan Worthen out to talk to Francisco.
It's interesting. Murph was the first one in there to Francisco, almost like saying, come on, big guy, my fault. Get us another ground ball. We'll get out of this inning. You know, that's I like that kind of stuff.
Francisco's allowed a single, and then he retired Espinosa on a fly out to Bay. Then the hard shot that Murphy misplayed may have been 2 if he handled it cleanly. He didn't get any. And now the walks. The base is loaded against Francisco in his second inning of work. In the last inning, he allowed a leadoff single and they got a ground ball double play to get out of it. See if he can do the same here with only 1 down. Carlos Maldonado came in for defensive purposes behind the plate. Get his first at bat here with the bases juiced.
Well, the Mets have an interesting outfield if Maldonado gets a ball out there. Jason Bay, of course, has a very accurate arm at left field. Lucas Duda, I think, has a really good arm. We haven't really seen it because of kind of the footwork he's still working on. And, of course, Lowen in center field has a cannon.
Former pitcher, hard throwing pitcher with a chance for Murphy. Can they turn it? High throw to Hada. Nicely done. No, it's safe at second base, and so the run will score. A high throw pulled Tejada off. They get the runner at first base. Maldonado retired, but credit him with an RBI.
Well, just not the good feed from Murph. And 2 plays this inning. This one not executed at all.
That's all about knowing who's running. You have a catcher, Maldonado, running, and I think Murph just rushed it. No need to rush it with Maldonado. You have all the time in the world.
Score the RBI for Maldonado. This one popped a mile high. Bay puts it away, but the Nationals add another, aided by Murphy's error. look at the Mets box score brought to you by Burger King. Not much offense. Lucas Duda accounting for most of it. 2 for 3 with an RBI triple. Score the Mets lone run. Andres Blanco in at second base for the Nationals. Wade Moore out in left, and Ryan Matthews on to pitch. Third pitcher of the afternoon for Washington. They've shut down this Mets offense. Just 4 hits so far for the Mets, as Ruben Tejada will lead it off.
Matthews getting a big look from Davey Johnson. This is his 10th outing in spring training.
Well, he's kind of in the mix. I mean, it would be an upset, but he could unseat Tom Gorzolani for that final bullpen spot. It's a possibility. That's what he's dealing with. Tejada takes outside, 1-1. You know, Tejada 0 for 2 today, but very quietly has had a nice spring, guys. You know, remember it started with all the fanfare with Terry, and you wanted him to be here earlier. He wasn't. There was a big deal made about that and the visa and everything. And all Ruben has done is come in and since he got here, been quiet and played quite well.
You know, I don't disagree with Terry Collins very often, but I thought that, and this was my personal feeling, I thought that could have been handled under the radar more. You know, once he came out and discussed that became a huge issue in the papers and everything else. And, you know, should he have been here earlier? Maybe. It's just I think that we tend to forget sometimes that you know, Ruben and other young players, they don't live here in the States, and they got to leave their families, and sometimes they want to hang out a little longer and report on the day they're supposed to report. But I thought that's something that didn't need to be in the paper. You know, no need to start your spring training like that.
And Tejada has himself a leadoff hit.
Because this is not like it's something new. Keith, when you and I played, I mean, the players that would come from Dominican or Venezuela or Panama or anywhere else would want to spend as much time at home as they could.
Well, they played winter ball.
Yeah.
Back then, they had to play winter ball.
And
that's changed.
And they were in shape. They were in better shape than anyone else.
So they always had the visa problems, and they always came a little late. It was tolerated. But they had played a whole year.
I think there are 2 factors in Terry. And, you know, he had the initial comment, and then I think he tried to backtrack on it for what you said. As Rob Johnson to right, Corey Brown, not going to get it. It doinks in. First and second for the Mets with no one out here in the 8th.
Well, not the prettiest, but it'll look like a line drive in the box score tomorrow for Mr. Johnson.
He's got 2 hits. It's the important thing for him.
Let's watch Tejada here. That's what you do. You're down 2 runs. Get halfway. If the ball's caught that shallow, you're not going to tag him and go to second. So that was the proper base running. Fundies right there.
Now, during the regular season, you might see, maybe not low, but you definitely see maybe a chance at a bunt situation here to try to move the runners along. But if you're managing in spring training, you want to see Mr. Lowen hit a long ball.
Yeah. Odds are, and Mr. Lowen probably wouldn't be up in this situation if it was a bunting situation.
That's right.
Trying to make this team, he and Mike Baxter going after it for the final spot off the bench, it seems. Baxter's had a great spring. Lowen got off to a good start, has slumped recently. Big opportunity for him here, though, personally. 2 on, Mets down by 2. Nobody out.
Good pitch in.
Guy's got a good arm.
Well, the first baseman here, he's in nowhere's land. And the first pitch, he was actually in as if a bunt. With a big guy like this, you're going to bunt him? I don't think so. Get back deep. Cover some ground.
You know what's great about first baseman to play in the right position here is that if you cut a ball out in the hole, cut a ball that's headed for the hole, you can get the out at second base. You don't turn a double play, but you keep the double play in order. You can get out of the inning with 1 more ground ball.
Yes. And you got to look at the speed of Lowen. He's a full swinger, not quick out of the box. You can turn 2 and a ball hit sharply.
Now 2-2 to Lowen. Meanwhile, tomorrow at 6, Mets continue their Grapefruit League schedule. Right here in Port St. Lucie, they'll host the Astros at Digital Domain Park. It's a night game. It's Mets Astros presented by Citi tomorrow at 6, only on SNY. Gary Cohen has enjoyed the sunshine today back in the booth.
I hope he doesn't have sunstroke for tomorrow.
That would not be good. Lowen watches down low, and the count goes full.
Have you done a 6-10 game yet, Kevin?
I had, I think the opener was the one I did. That first one.
I'm a big fan of the 6-10 game, by the way.
I'm a big fan of not getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, which I tend to do when you do these games. So I'm with you. Keith, are you here tomorrow or no?
I am not here tomorrow.
Okay.
Ronnie and I switched games.
Carroll and Moore. Carroll in center field makes the catch, and Lowen's retired. One away. Well, that's fine if you don't want to be part of the party. I understand.
Well, I just had to get my cat up north. Remember?
Yeah,
I'm flying my cat up north. We don't have a game over the weekend. So it's a golden opportunity. Ron was kind enough to switch a game with me so I can get on an airplane tomorrow morning. Get old Haji up to my house.
Haji, are you going to open
him off?
Open up the Sag Harbor house? Nice.
And then come back down Sunday afternoon. Do Tuesday's game and get ready to go.
That's right.
How do you fly Haji? Is he in a little bag under your seat?
Bag. Yeah. He's a good flyer.
Better than you.
Does he get the peanuts too? Is he enjoy a little mid-flight snack?
He usually just zonks out. He's great. He doesn't like going through security though.
Baxter takes inside. Does he have to go through the machine?
He goes through the machine with me. I have to take him out of the bag and I have to carry him through with me.
I would love to see a picture of that.
And he just sheds when he gets so uptight. He just sheds all over me.
That's got to be on TMZ at some point.
someone's got to be waiting at the airport. Meanwhile, 2-1 to Mike Baxter, who's had himself a great spring training. Again, he and Lowen trying to fight for that final spot. Baxter, .350 batting average so far this spring. He's got 6 RBIs, too. Got a couple on the pond for him here. 2 on, 1 out. Mets trailing 3-1 in the 8th.
You know what was interesting is that I would say if you were to look at the first 2 weeks of spring training, you would have probably said Lowen's going to definitely make the team. And that shifted. I think Baxter now is nose to head.
I think in a way, too, Hairston making the team, being healthy is an issue because, if Terry wants that solo home run to tie the game, he's got the guy. Baxter is much more of a contact hitter than Lowen's been. There he gets a piece, and it's 3-2.
Fastball, power to power right here. Swung right through it. On it, but under it.
He's more of a low ball hitter when I watch Mike swing the bat.
How great of a story would that be for him to break camp with the Mets? Whitestone's own Archbishop Malloy slices one, just foul.
And unlike most of the players and coaches that are going to be on that eternal scrum to find an apartment in New York City, Mike Baxter has a home.
Probably getting more home cooked meals than anyone else too. That'd be my guess. Tejada on second, he's single. Rob Johnson on first, he's single. Matthews 3-2 to Baxter. Mike hanging in. Baxter to right. And called off. Carroll in center makes the play. Going on down to third base is Tejada.
That was a nice heads-up play by Carroll in center field because the right fielder at his angle had lost the ball in the sun, and that ball was going to drop in. He noticed that and called him off. Watch, he puts his hand up. He is losing that ball, and Carroll comes over and calls him off. Nice play.
Brett Carroll trying to make this team good defensive outfielder, but the Nationals have a few of those, by the way, because it looks like Ankiel and Bernardino will be splitting time in center for this team. Both those guys can play D, especially Ankiel, who is ridiculous on defense with that arm. Steve McCaddy's out, the pitching coach for the Nationals. We'll talk to Ryan Matthews here with 2 down. Runners on the corners. Daniel Murphy up. Murphy's got a single and 3 trips. I'm sure he's looking for a little retribution. Had the error that allowed 1 unearned run to score to add the Nationals lead to 3-1 where it is right now. Jonas Schwartz, Joe Benigno will debate the latest in New York sports, plus bring you exclusive Mets player and coach interviews straight from Port St. Lucie. It's on Daily News Live, presented by Citi. Today at 5, only on SNY.
Well, Chris, our stage manager, she doesn't have to work out after the game today with the trip she's making back and forth with the white pieces of script for you, Kevin.
478 pieces of sales and promo materials today. Chris has been very efficient. Very, very efficient. Getting them to us. Murphy takes breaking ball for strike 1.
Would you hold Rob Johnson on here with a left-handed hitter, Keith? Not a runner. Play behind him, maybe give you a couple of steps.
I think you hold on, just guard the line.
There you go. Over Tracy's head, base hit, RBI. Tejada scores. Johnson to third. RBI single for Daniel Murphy, and the Mets are within 1.
Well, Ronnie, hindsight's 20/20 all the time, and there you go. You play behind, you make the play.
If he hits it down the line and you're playing off the line, it's a double in both scores, so who knows?
Well, Valdespin is up now, and he's had a nice spring. Another impressive showing for him. This is 2 springs in a row now where he's really impressed with his speed, his bat.
This guy is an outstanding athlete. He's got 2 down. Mets down by 1. And the tying run, Johnson at third takes the fastball high. And I think with his ability now putting in the outfield, he's really putting himself in position to be, the first call up if the Mets need somebody here. He's a natural second baseman. He's played a lot of short. And he says he's practiced in the offseason for the last few years playing the outfield a lot at home. So talked to him earlier today, said he's comfortable out there. Takes a strike, 1-1.
Pitcher Matthews is not paying Murph at first any mind. Just getting it and throwing it.
I heard Tom Goodwin early in the game say, don't expect Murphy to run often, but he's a guy that can run. Maybe here. Tracy holds him on. Valdespin shorts. And the inning is over. Mets get 1. They leave 2. We're through 8. Still the Nationals by 1. Take a look at the Kia around the majors for this afternoon. First baseball game was actually played earlier today, about 6 a.m. East Coast time from Japan, where the Mariners beat the A's in 11 innings, 3-1. Ichiro 4 for 4, including the game winner in the 11th for that one. We talked about it earlier in the game. Dodgers sold to Magic Johnson's group $2 billion. That's not 28. That's $2 billion. And final note on there is Jabba Chamberlain as Mike Baxter replaces Jason Bay in left, and Manny Acosta on the mound. Jabba Chamberlain saying that he thinks he'll have a great chance to indeed pitch in 2012, not only recovering from Tommy John surgery, but a horrific ankle injury that he suffered in the most bizarre way, as Adam Lowen makes a nice play. And there's one down.
Well, as far as around the league is concerned, a nice play by Adam, who's played both corner positions outstanding, and now a fine play in this ball to center field. Henry Rodriguez up in the bullpen with his 100-mile-an-hour fastball getting ready. I thought it was a disservice to Jabba. He was out playing with his kid. I mean, come on. They made it sound like he was doing something improper. We want all of our fathers to be playing with their kids, right? It's just a freak injury that happened.
Feel bad for him.
And I'm glad that he might be able to come back and pitch.
It's a tough thing coming back from Tommy John, and then you have that. Just a crazy thing. He was jumping from trampoline to trampoline. This big center. I saw a picture of the center.
I know.
It looked cool, didn't it?
I didn't even know they had those things.
It looked really neat, actually. You have kids. There's a bunch of trampolines together. Obviously didn't turn out neat for him. But
just watch your ankle, because I know you'll be at one of those places very soon.
Well, yeah.
Your son's the right age for that.
Tape it up, that's for sure.
And then in that game in Japan that you said, Ichiro got 4 hits and great starting pitching. King Fields for Seattle, 8 innings, 1 run, no walks, 6 strikeouts. And Brandon McCarthy for the A's, 7 innings, only 1 run. So
Dustin Ackley had a 2-run home run for the Mariners in that game. They'll play again tomorrow. That's just weird, though. You know, I don't know, a week ahead. It's really a week ahead of opening day. It's a little odd for me.
You know, Keith and I are from the generation that the season didn't start till the Cincinnati Reds started the game.
Right, traditionally. You're right. It should still be the same way. Said you've got next Wednesday. Is it Marlins and Cardinals next Wednesday night?
Yes.
It's a game Wednesday night.
I think it's a night game too, right?
Yeah, 2-2 base hits for Brett Carroll. Chad Tracy will be the batter now against Acosta. Really had a good year for the Mets. You know, looking at the Mets roster, and you look at the guys that left, Beltran and Pagan and Reyes, and the only switch hitter on the team is Andres Torres. However, there's one other one. Manny Acosta is a switch hitter.
Oh, he is.
I asked him about that today, and he said, yeah. He said, I learned when I was 8 years old. His brother, who got drafted, actually showed him at 8. He said he was an outfielder, also played some first base, and he said he's never done it in the same game, but he said back with the Braves, he had a year where he had a couple of bats from each side of the plate.
Wow.
So he has that ability.
Well, he's no Joaquin Andahar, I'll tell you that. Right, Keith? Never. Switch hitter for the Cardinals in the 80s. But he could hit. I mean, had power from both sides, too.
Chance for Lowen. He retires Tracy. 2 down.
Lowen has played a pretty good center field out there for a big guy.
He gets a nice jump.
Knows exactly. He looks very comfortable out there.
Come on.
Chris McConnell, the batter, with 2 down.
This is one of the more, what do you say, slighter players that you'll see in the major leagues.
Like the old-time second base.
That's right.
Middle infielders.
Like the Dougie Flynn in the middle 70s.
That's the kind of athlete that would have been really affected negatively in the steroid era.
Yeah.
That, you know, really wouldn't have had a shot. Thank God those days are gone.
Those guys like, you know, those great Oriole teams, a guy like Mark Belanger probably would have had a hard time finding a place to play. The late, great Mark Belanger.
Don Buford wasn't a big guy, so enough hitter.
But, you know, they went through that whole stage where your middle infielders were very slight. Buddy, of course. Yeah. Buddy Harrelson.
Trying to think of around the league who has the build like McConnell, maybe like a Darwin Barney on Chicago.
Yeah. Although, you know, I saw you interviewing them last year. They might be. They're not slight. They're strong.
Yeah, I'm not trying to slight him. Yeah. I'm trying to think of
smaller,
slighter guys at the position. There's a nice little double play tandem there with he and Starlin Castro. Unfortunately, the Cubs don't have a heck of a lot else going for them right now. Acosta's got a 1-2, and he gets him. Manny Acosta comes in and does the job. Mets last opportunity. We head to the bottom of the ninth. They trail by 1. Nice D by Lowen. And again. Henry Rodriguez tries to close it out for the Nationals. Guy throws absolute gas. That's for sure. And we'll get to see it on display here in the ninth. Mets down 3-2.
A lot of zeros up there in those numbers.
Vinny Rottino will lead it off his first at bat of the game, subbing for Ike Davis. He takes a strike at 99.
This is the largest strike zone I've seen Angel Hernandez, the home plate umpire, have. I hope he brings that into the game during the regular season.
He had a nice outside corner for a righty against right-hand hitters. He's had a big outside corner.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, Rodriguez has always had control issues and walks a lot of people. Has not done it thus far this spring. And there he is. Forgot all about that.
And that's without the iconic wood cap.
Yeah. I still got that iconic wood. I put it in the trophy case. Oh, nice breaking ball.
Rodriguez breaks one off there.
99, and then
that'll buckle your world.
It will buckle.
Pretty good pitch.
Talked to Davey Johnson for the game, and he said one thing about Rodriguez, he's been throwing strikes this camp. That was his always issue, control. If he throws strikes, good luck. 1-2 to Rottino. Goes with it to right.
Oh, nice play.
Nice catch, Corey Brown. And Rottino's retired, one away.
Nice at bat by Rottino right there. And he continues to swing a good bat this spring. Just hang with him. Nice play.
Duda at bat now. Lucas has an RBI triple. He's got 2 for 3.
This is going to be a confrontation that happens a few times this season.
Rodriguez, if you remember, came over in the trade in 2010 for Josh Willingham, the swap with the A's.
And it doesn't matter where Willingham goes, he continues to hit. It doesn't matter.
We're happy to get Willingham out of the division. It seemed like he had a home run every game against them. Duda is retired. Henry Rodriguez hitting 100 on that last pitch, and he is today's Cholula hot sauce flamethrower. Rodriguez. He's had 399s and 100.
Oh my God! He makes it look easy too.
You know, with Drew Storen battling the elbow tightness that he's had, he hasn't picked up a baseball in a couple weeks. Probably start the year on the DL. Rodriguez and Brad Lidge, it seems, will probably split the closing duties to start the year for the Nationals, so Storen can get healthy.
Well, it tells you a little bit about the Nationals' depth, doesn't it? That they could lose their closer from last season and for the first couple of weeks and have 2 guys that, you know, what is Lidge has had in a 10-year career, maybe I think 223 saves. So you got that veteran presence and this young man who has all the talent in the world.
1-0 to Turner. Jeez, 96.
That's too early for March, man. You need to have that adrenaline running in April to catch up with that.
Gosh, worked over the 22-inch bat. Try to get a little more barrel there. A little less handle. Oh, man.
He's mixing in that breaking ball.
Boy, does that look like Brad Lidge's breaking ball? I wonder if both those guys in the camp have been working together. That was nasty.
I mean, what do you do with that after seeing 99?
Well, you got to protect right now. You're 1 and 2.
You are in serious
hope. The same approach Patino had going the other way.
What do you call it? You call it the emergency stance, right?
Emergency. Absolutely.
Call 911.
Just get down on a crouch. Be ready. He's quick, boy.
It's a 2-2. Turner gets a bat on it. This should do it. And it does. Mets are done in the 9th against Rodriguez, and the Nationals pull out the 3-2 win against the Mets this afternoon. That was some inning by Rodriguez. Impressive, to say the least. What you saw from the Mets today, a good outing from Jonathan Neese. He allowed just 2 runs. Jason Worth with a home run, but he pitched well. Lucas Duda had a couple of hits, including an RBI triple, but offense didn't do much else. Jordan Zimmerman, excellent for the Nationals in the win as they beat the Mets 3-2 in a quick game, 2:15. Desmond was 4 for 4. Neese was great. Come back and wrap it up in a moment.